Alrighty then, let's watch some more Real Justice. He's gotta be a troll. Alrighty then. I didn't think I'd have the courage to share this footage. Courage the Cowardly Dog much? I mean, what courage do you need to share this footage? Huh? What courage is there in sharing this footage? Is it because you're lying and you need courage to be able to come up against people like me who's going to call you out? But I feel a lot of hoaxers can learn from this experience. The experience of what? Being called out for being a liar because you're the hoaxer here? I mean, Trevor Jacob, yeah, he hoaxed his own thing, but you're hoaxing your own stuff. You're lying, you're making up stuff. You're seeing stuff that isn't there. So let's go through it. Why did Trevor cut away from the footage and cue in a different view of the plane? It's called cinematography. He was trying to make a cinematic shot. He wanted the video to look good. I'll tell you why. Really? Why? I'll bet you're wrong. The sun is east of Bald Mountain. Yeah. When the two different crash scenes videos were filmed. There was only one crash scene filmed just from two different angles on two different cameras. But sure. This is why there is a shadow of the pilot side of the plane, or a shadow on the pilot side of the plane. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let me move myself here. I'll just put myself in the middle. Got the sun up to the left because this is east. Technically, Bald Mountain's behind us because what Trevor Jacob crashes into is not Bald Mountain. It's the mountain ridge next to Bald Mountain. He crashed near not Bald Mountain, not on Bald Mountain. Anyways, so we can see the sun up here. And that would be causing the shadow here. Yeah. Now remember, we got one GoPro here for one angle. One GoPro here that isn't used. And then there's the GoPro back here on the tail of the same aircraft. There's not multiple aircrafts. There's not multiple times that they fly or whatever. There's none of that. We got 3 GoPros. See, okay, here. We got a GoPro out here on the tail. That's where that shot just was. And then we got a GoPro right here that we're viewing through. And then this is a GoPro that's not used. Or it might be... Oh, let me move myself because I'm in the way. Okay, this right here is either another GoPro, which some people have pointed and said it's a GoPro, and other people have said it's some kind of a flight speed instrument. But this right here is his pitot tube for his flight, for his airspeed, if it's properly hooked up. But there's evidence that in the cab it might not be hooked up. And so this right here could be a strap-on temporary flight speed thing, airspeed indicator. But other people are saying it's GoPro. We don't know. GoPro or airspeed indicator, it's one or the other. But we do know that there's at least this GoPro that we're looking through and the one on the tail. There's also this one in here on the dash. You can see it right there. And then there's the one that was up here that he took with him. Okay. This means the crash scenes videos were filmed in the morning. Okay, good. Because he did crash kind of in the morning. Yeah. However, the scene with the plane flying the valley was filmed in the afternoon. What makes you say that? Let's see your evidence for this. I bet you it's not what you think it is. Because there is no shadow on the pilot side of the plane. Okay, let's see. Let's see that there's no shadow on the pilot side of the plane. Hence, the sun is west of Bald Mountain during the filming. Okay, let's see. There's no shadow on the pilot side of the plane. What do you call all of this? This whole side is covered in shadow. The sun is right up here. This right here is... Let me move myself. This right here is Bald Mountain. Hence the big baldness on the mountain. That's Bald Mountain. This is the sun. This is a reflection of the sun in the lens. That's lens flaring. And this all right here is shadow. You can even see the shadow on the mountain. And here's the shadows on the mountain. Here's the shadows on the mountain. If the sun was in the west, which remember, this valley right here travels east to west. Over here's east, over here's west. If the sun was in the west, these shadows on the mountains would not be here, would they? Remember, this is north over this direction, this is south over this direction, east over this direction, this west over this direction. So if the shadows are on the west side of the mountains, the sun is on the east side of the mountain. Now, it's not directly east because we're north of the equator, so it has to be southeast. So when you see the sun over here, that's southeast, meaning the shadows are going to be somewhat northeast. And this side of the plane is facing the northeast, therefore it's in shadow. This is a shadow right here. Shadow. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, that the pilot side of the plane is not in shadow. I mean, we even see a reflection of the wheel system right here. Or at least what looks like a reflection of the wheel system right there. I guess that's the struts. Okay, we can kind of see the struts. It's the light coming from here, reflecting off these struts, bouncing up. Got it. Okay. That's the struts. You can see that. And that's because of ray tracing. If you follow the light from the source, it would bounce and reflect, and yeah. Alright. The crash video and the Fly in the Valley video were filmed on 2 different days. No, they weren't. The sun's in the same spot. He also watches the airplane fly down and crash where it is, which is the exact path the Fly the Valley video takes. The Fly the Valley plane looks like an RC plane to me. Why? And what do you mean by RC plane? Okay, can you in your next video explain? When you say RC plane, are you meaning a small replica model, or are you talking about a full-size airplane modified with remote control components to control it? Which one are we talking about? Did he modify the big airplane to be remote control, or did he crash a miniature airplane? Which one is it? And the video of the plane flying the valley was their test run to make sure the remote control video worked properly. No, it wasn't. You didn't prove anything. You say that the sun is in the west, but it's clearly in the east based off the shadows on the mountains and the shadow on the plane. What are you talking about? Where are you getting your information from? Huh? You are definitely not getting your information from what we are finding in the video, are you? So where are you getting your information from? Is this more of that, here you go, internet, my shit, served up on a silver platter? The plan was to flip the plan was to flip the plane over upon impact to prevent the plane from flying off the mountain. When you are crashing into the side of the mountain and the top is way up here and you're way down here, why are you worried about it flying off the mountain? When you're hitting the side of a mountain, how is it going to fly off the side of the mountain or fly off the top? You're making no sense here. That's not a worry that he has. In order to flip the plane over upon impact, the plane needs to be nose down. Prove the plane was that far nose down. It wasn't. Me and you've been having this argument. You keep saying 50 to 60 degrees nose down. I keep saying 35 to 45 degrees nose down. Prove that the nose is that far down. Just before impact. Okay, just before impact. And this is exactly what we see happen in the second video. No, we don't. Prove it. Okay. If a remote control pilot is trying to make this nose down, the elevons in the back would be flapped down. Because you're trying to put the nose, the tail up, so you're going to flap down. But those are not flapped down. You can actually see they're slightly flapped up, and that's because of the angle the airplane's coming in and the wind rushing past them, pushing them, and because there's no one controlling it. So, no, those are not being used to push the nose of the airplane down. Now, are we seeing an airplane nosing down into the ground here? Or what we've seen is a hillside with an airplane crashing down into it at a 30 to 45 degree angle, 35 to 45 degree angle. Which one are we seeing here? Is it this one or is it this one? Is it this one or this one? Well, we know it's a hillside. And so we can just guesstimate. I'm not saying that it's a hillside like this. I'm saying it's a hillside about like that. Because that's what we see when he finds his plane. There's a hillside about like this. So when you crash down in that, that's 35 to 45 degree down. Not 60 to 50 or 50 to 60. So let's continue. You did not prove that the airplane nosed down. You did not prove that the airplane's intent was to flip. In order to remotely move the elevators, you mean elevons, down before impact. Elevators are what you use to change floors in a building. Elevons is what you use to change altitude in an airplane. The person controlling the remote has to be close by. Why does there even have to be a person controlling it? If it's remote controlled, you can actually have a computer remote control it and just set it up on a GPS path and not need a second person. So why would there even need to be a second person? If he's smart enough to set this airplane up to remote control it, he should be smart enough to set it up to be autopiloted. But there is no proof that there is any of those kind of electronics in it. You haven't proved anywhere that there's the electronics to control it remotely or automatically. You haven't proved that this is an RC airplane. Please prove it's an RC airplane. Show the flaps, the ailerons, elevons, any of that functioning after he bails out. Where is the control surface movement for controlled movement? This airplane's in free fall. And this person was close by. No, they weren't. Because they were flying in a different plane, a chase plane following the crash plane. There was no chase plane. there was no chase plane. Why would there be a chase plane? The airplane was in free fall. And during their Fly the Valley flight test, you can see the reflection of something shining off the pilot side of the plane while it's flying the valley. Okay, let's see it. So something was flying right beside the plane. Was something flying right beside the plane? We'll see. I don't think you proved that. Let's see. The sun is the west of... No, it's not. The sun is to the east of Bald Mountain still. We know because of the shadows. I will show you the shadows and prove that the sun is to the east of Bald Mountain still. We'll quit bringing up the fact that the sun is to the west of Bald Mountain because the sun is not to the west of Bald Mountain. But because it's to the southeast of Bald Mountain where the plane is, what you're saying is... Come on, next part. The sun is shining into the right side of the chase plane. Now, it could still do it if the sun is, here, but there's no chase plane. But you're wrong in the position of the sun, and I will prove it. The reflection of the sun off the chase plane's right side shines onto the left pilot side of the chase plane. Let's see. This is why Trevor cut away from the footage that very second. No, he didn't. Because he saw the reflection on the plane when he was making his video. I see it too, but Trevor had no idea. That someone real stupid would be watching this video one day. Trevor should have left that Fly the Valley scene out of his video altogether, or he should have cut that scene 2 seconds earlier. Watch this. Yeah, we'll watch it all right. Let's watch this. Okay, did you see it? Did you see what he wanted you to see? Okay, this is what he wants you to see. Watch. Watch. The plane is tilting over. And it's turning. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, light is starting to appear here. Light is starting to appear here. I wonder what that could be. And then, watch. Let's scroll back here. We notice that the light continues on up here, and there's a straight line where the light is. What is that light? Well, let's see here. The sun is coming from this direction, and we can see that this has a weird setup. So there's a straight line here. Oh yeah, later on you talk about this weird line on the side of his airplane when it's landed, and you say that it's kind of hard to see with the RC airplanes, and this is one of your RC airplanes. That's that line right there, and it's the sun coming over and hitting the edge. This bar is not 100% straight, creating a weird shadow here. That's all it is. It's not coming from another airplane. That's not from another airplane. This is the sun reflecting off that weird line. Now watch, when we come forward here, you see right here off this window right here, straight this way, right down here, this line all the way here, yeah, That's that weird line that he says is not on the model airplanes, on the RC ones. Now, also, if you notice, there's another line down here. What it is there's bars on the inside to create the frame of the airplane, and then the skin of the airplane is stretched across it. And it's not perfectly smooth, it's kind of wavy, because there's no way to stretch the aluminum perfect and get it flat. So the skin of the airplane's not perfect, and that's what we're seeing here. Go back. We're seeing that main bar right here. You can also see the other one right here. And you can see the skin of the airplane is wrapped around, and you're seeing the light reflecting off of that. That's just the sunlight hitting the outer edge, because you got the back of the airplane, and then you got the side panel that's slightly bent, and then you got the flat edge. That's that. All right? Later on, he'll show that better, and I will point that out. So that's not light from another airplane. That's just the sunlight on this airplane, because remember, the sun is right here. Here's the sun. This is not west. This right here is Bald Mountain to the north. This right here is the mountain that he crashes into to the south. This is the valley that travels east and west. So this is east. This is west. This is southeast over here where the sun is, where I keep saying it's in the southeast. The sun is in the southeast. And now the airplane is starting to turn southeast. And as it rolls, you can see, as the plane rolls, that light becomes more visible, proving that it's the sunlight as the airplane rolls, hitting that part of the airplane that sticks out just a little bit more than the top part right there. That's what that is. It's not the light from another airplane. Yup. Thank you. Nope, you're wrong again. Real stupid there. Real stupid. I don't know what you do in your other videos, but so far, every Trevor Jacob video of yours that I've watched has been full of bullshit. If this is what you do for all of your real justice videos, you are muddying the waters and actually causing more problems. All right, someone's going to watch this shit. They're going to believe that it's real. They're not going to understand that you're a troll like I did when I first watched this. I didn't realize you were a troll when I first watched this shit. I know now you're a troll, but you're muddying the waters and causing problems. You should stay out of the justice area and the actual crime stuff if you're just going to be trolling. All right, you are not helping the situation. All right, so let's continue on with this. He's going to point out what I already showed is that as the airplane rolls, and remember, the sun's over here. Look at the shadows on the mountains. The shadows on the mountains won't lie to where the sun is. The shadows on the mountains will tell the truth. So the sun has to be over here because the shadows on the mountains are over here. Hence why there's still a shadow on the side of the plane that is now lighting up. Not only that, party people. Well, no one's having a party here. The shadows of the plane all of a sudden appear on the mountainside. It does? No, this one's a great one. All right. So I can get ready for this one. Is the chase plane with the person running the remote? No, it's not. We can follow the shadow who noses down the crash plane just before impact. Where? Where do you see elevons down? Where do you ever see elevons down? If the elevons never go down, it never pointed down. All right? You're full of it. Show me a picture with elevons down. The crash plane is flying level, yet the shadow of the plane on the mountainside raises up, then flies level for 2 seconds. That's because the mountainside is curvy. It's not flat. You don't understand how shadows work. Let's watch this. Let's watch how the shadows work. Okay. I'm going to slow-mo this one for you. All right. See how we follow the shadow? All right. We're going to see. Here's the shadow. And we're going to follow the shadow. We're going to follow the shadow. Now, see the terrain, how it's not level? See how it's rising and lowering? Yeah, that's why the shadow looks like it's moving like it is. But notice how the shadow stays on the same plane with this shadow. This shadow stays in the same plane with this shadow. What does that say? It means that the shadows are caused by the same light source. And that more than likely the shadows are basically the same object, right? Now watch, as we follow this shadow right here, this shadow that you're saying is a chase plane, because you don't know how shadows work, it's going to follow all the way in. Look, it's going into the crash site. So what? Did the chase plane crash with it? How is the shadow right there on, the other side of this plane if it's on this side creating the shadow and not creating a shadow on the plane? Why is the chase plane not creating a shadow on the plane? Why is it that this plane shadow is going directly into the ground where this airplane is? Is it because the shadow was caused by this airplane? This airplane caused that shadow? Yeah, this airplane caused that shadow. You don't know how shadow works. There's simply no way the mountainside shadow is from the crash plane. No, there is simply no way the shadow on the mountain is not from the crash plane. There's no simple way it's not from the crash plane. You are literally looking at the evidence and saying it's the exact opposite of what it is. This is why you're a troll. Now look at the pilot side of the crash plane. There is a shadow from the plane wing. Yeah? Okay, yeah, we see this shadow, okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. The shadow would continue below the bottom of the airplane. Why? It's not like there's the same surface there for the shadow to be cast on. Why would there be a shadow there? Do you not know how shadows work? Why would there be a shadow here? I mean, are you saying that the shadow's fake or something? What? Now remember, the sun is being cast on one object that's now being cast onto the ground. So what's on this object would only be what's close to it, as where the ground would show the whole object. Hence why the whole object's on the ground and the partial object's on the plane, because the parts of the plane are casting shadows onto itself, where the whole plane is casting a shadow on the ground. You don't know how shadows work, do you? You fail at physics, you fail at shadows, you fail at knowing where the sun is. What do you succeed at? Trolling people? That's it. You're succeeding at trolling people. That's it. You have to be a troll. You're a troll. So the wing shadow should continue to appear below the plane. Why? And it does as the whole shadow of the airplane. Because remember, the ground is further away than the side of the airplane. The rest of the shadow should appear on the mountainside, but it does not. It should not be appearing on the side of the mountain, other than as the whole image of the airplane, which it does. You're looking at things wrong. And before the plane shadow on the mountainside ever appears, the crash plane already has a shadow on the pilot's. No, you're wrong. I'll prove this. All right. You're saying that in this image, the shadow of this airplane does not appear, or the shadow of the chase plane. What's this? What's this? Is that the shadow of this airplane? Or the chase plane, as you keep wanting to call it. Let me prove this. Let's prove this. There we go. Here we go. So, you can follow the shadow all the way into the crash. All right, let's go back. You can continue to follow this shadow all the way down. There it is. There it is. See it right there on the ground? See that shadow moving there on the ground? Okay, let's go back because there's more images of it. All right, even here, watch these shadows. All right, in this one, because the perspective is different, as it's coming in, we're going to see, oh, there's the shadow, there's the shadow, there's the shadow, and boom. All right, let's scroll back. Now notice where the sun is the whole time, and notice how it turns in. Notice how the shadows change and all of that. The sun's up here. Let me move myself. The sun's up here. See, the sun is up here. The whole time it's in the same spot. Now, we're supposed to be, this is supposed to be the chase plane, right? And it's supposed to just all of a suddenly appear, right? So we'll keep pointing it out. There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Oh, and you know? So this right here, this little speck right here that you're showing right here, that speck right there, that's the shadow. There you go. There's your shadow. Helped you out find your shadow. Yep. So this plane should have also created a shadow on the mountainside, but it does. I showed you the shadow. I showed you the shadow. There's a shadow there. I showed you the shadow. It's there the whole time. Look at this image and think about it, party people. Okay, what image are we supposed to look at and think about? Okay, that's the shadow of the airplane. We were able to follow it from the very beginning of the video clip to the very end. So remember, think about the still image, party people. So let's go over here to the actual thing. Remember, we got this shadow down here. Okay, from the very beginning, from the very first frame of the clip, there's the shadow. We can follow it, 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 we can follow it. Yep. That matches up. Okay. Yeah. Think about the shadow, people. Come on, party people. Let's party, people. All right. Remember. Let's think about the shadow right here. Remember, party people, we got to think about the shadow. Let's think about the shadow, party people. Let's keep partying. Woo! We party. All the way into the ground. So the shadow came from the plane. Okay. Thank you. You didn't prove anything. Thank you for adding nothing, you useless YouTuber. There is a shadow from the wing at the very same time. There is also a whole shadow of plane on the mountainside. It's because the shadow of the wing is from the wing on the airplane, and the shadow on the mountainside is the shadow of the whole airplane. You need to learn how shadows work. It makes no sense to you, but everyone else, the shadow makes sense. To everyone else, the shadow's logical. It's only to you who does not understand shadows. What are you, 5 years old? Am I arguing with a 5-year-old? Or are you really just that much of a troll? Is the world flat? What are you? If the whole plane is casting a shadow on the mountains, yeah? Yeah, the whole plane is casting a shadow on the mountainside. Then the bottom of the wing should be casting a shadow. It is in the form of the whole airplane. You're not just going to see a partial shadow from the airplane on the mountain. You're going to see the whole shadow of the mountain on the mountain, or of the airplane on the mountain. You're going to see the partial shadow of the airplane on the airplane. Honestly, dude. So why did the mountainside shadow of the plane only appear all of a sudden? It didn't, and I proved it. It didn't appear all of a sudden. It was there in every frame of the video. We followed it from the very first frame of the video all the way to crash. Because it was the chase plane with the person running the remote control of the chase plane. Or of the crash plane. You have not proven that there was a remote control person. You have not proven that there was a chase plane. You have not proven that it was recorded on 2 different days. I have reproven that it is the same day, the sun's in the same place, the shadows are logical, and you are retarded. Trevor plane also has a noticeable design bend. Yeah, I kind of showed that, isn't it? In the side of the plane. Interesting. Yeah, I kind of already showed that. Yeah, okay. Good. Here's where I get to go back and kind of re-explain some things. Yeah, you see this design bend? There's also another one slightly down here. And that's because 2 main support bars run there. And then they stretch the skin over that. So, and you can also see up here that this area kind of bulges out. See how it's kind of creating a shadow already right here? You can kind of see that it's somewhat creating a shadow right here, proving that this part bulges out just a little bit because it's not bent around this bar perfectly. You can also see that this bend right here is not perfect because the shadowing down here is not perfect. You can see that it fluctuates, so you know that that's not a perfect bend there. Okay. And remember, it comes from the egg-shaped window all the way back to the rear. And then there's another one that comes down here. You can't really see it very well. I did point it out in the other. All right. And in this Fly the Valley RC plane, there is no bend. But there is the bend. Remember, it's what causes that weird light aberration right here. You can kind of see the bend right here. You can see it from the egg-shaped window all the way back right here. You can barely see it in the video. All right, here. Let me once again. Here's Trevor's. Go back to the supposed Fly the Valley. That's not the same, even though, watch. It's just cut weird, even though we can make a complete scene out of it, because remember, this part, watch how it dips down there. Okay, if we keep going back after this crash to where he cuts the video, we can actually make a complete clip of it. Because watch, here's where it's about ready to crash into the ground. And then watch the shadow, watch the shadow, watch the shadow, watch the shadow, watch the shadow. As it comes down, watch the shadow. Yeah, it's the same clip. This one's just a little bit longer. But he's saying that they're from 2 different days, even though they're the exact same video. He's saying they're from 2 different days. They're the same video, but he's saying 2 different days. We can prove that they're the same video because, I mean, now, right here, you say that we can't see this bend. You know, the one that comes from the egg-shaped window out. But yet, you use these weird light aberrations trying to say, oh, look, there's another airplane there. Right? But yet, that is that weird bend. And the shadow that it's cast because of this. So, no, the weird bend is there. So is this not the RC plane or is this the RC plane? Which one is this? Because this is the exact same one that you're saying is the RC plane that doesn't have the bend. Because right here, you're using this to say it doesn't have the bend, right? But yet, we can clearly see that it has the bend. If we just go forward in the video, boom, there's the bend exposing itself. The bend has exposed itself right here. There's the bend. Okay, so, come on. Let's do this one, party people, right? We're having a party here. Woo! The plane on the ground after Trevor skydives down to, it does not have the bend either. But it has to because it's the same plane. Okay.
No idea where I am.
Oh, so it doesn't look like there's the bend there. But, okay. Here's some more interesting factoids here. Note, the tail is not crushed in, meaning the tail never struck the ground, meaning it could never have been on its back. Here's another interesting factoid. Notice this bend right here. This is not normal. Why is this bent here? That's because as it was coming in and it impacted the ground, forward momentum stops, downward momentum continues, and it bends the airplane and slams it to the ground. That's why that tail chunk is bent right there. This tail chunk, this is bent in because it boom. It didn't flip over. If it hit and started to flip, that bend would have been in a forward momentum and would have been bent up, and then that tail would have slammed into the ground, damaging the tail. Tail's not damaged, and this is bent the wrong direction for if it flipped. This airplane right here never flipped. Also, then, you want us to believe that because it's right side up now, that it had to have flipped, and then Trevor flipped it back over and put the wings back next to it to make it look like it was a whole airplane because he was trying to piece it back together. Okay, so the scrawny little fuck goes there and flips over a 700-pound airplane? So you think he's also in the top end of the bodybuilders too. So he is a genius with being able to build remote control airplanes, and he's a strong man. Are you Trevor Jacob? Are you Trevor Jacob in disguise and you're just kind of fluffing this up? You're trying to make yourself sound better? I mean, what is this? How can you have these thoughts that Trevor Jacob is this smart? He is one step away from a caveman just like you are. There is no genius on display here.
I don't even know. Thank you, God.
All right. Now remember, that bend would be right around here, and it's caused because of a bar on the inside. So if the tail is kind of bent this way, because you can kind of see that the tail is bent sideways and down, that bar would have been bent inward, and you can even see by the ruffles of this that there is no longer a bar supporting it. So we would no longer see that ridge right there. Would we? Because the bar causing the ridge is no longer pushing up against the skin of the airplane. Now, okay, I can also kind of show that that line is there in the crash video. Just if we go to the right spot of it. All right. Let's go back. Where is it? Could have swore it was after this, but I'll just scrub through right quick. Anyways, let's go to the beginning and just scrub from the beginning over. Come on. Right here. You can enlarge this. You can kind of see that main bar right here. It'll be coming this way, but not really. And then right here, you can kind of see that, yeah, there is that bar right there. You can somewhat see the camera play with it a little bit. You can see that there is that line right there. So yeah, that line is there. Now, yes, it is mostly gone, but that's because the tail is bent the wrong direction. I would like to be able to see the other side of the aircraft, but he never shows that side.
There's literally nothing. No anything. No water. I had a water jug in the back.
It wasn't in the back, Trevor. It was in the passenger seat next to you, the co-pilot seat.
I have no idea where I am. I don't even know. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, higher power, for watching over me. I'm gonna start walking out of here.
Yeah. Anyways.
God, thank you, universe. Thank you, higher power, for watching over me. I'm gonna start walking out of here.
So, exposed fact. Yeah, I exposed the facts that you have no clue what you're talking about. I have the facts, you have make-believe. You're in fancy land. So there were no facts on display here, other than the fact you're a moron. How about you actually look at the evidence instead of adding your own two things? The world's only living, leading, legend, online true crime expert. Well, I mean, you might be looking into true crimes, but you're not an expert. You have been wrong on everything. Everything that you said can be proven wrong. So some expert you are. You are expertly proven wrong. Done.